don't know why I believed in this system, because everything seemed to work right for me.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to another episode of Big Local Podcast. And today I have an amazing lady. The reason I wanted to share her story is to, give inspiration to a young lady out there who's trying to make tough decisions about leaving home, about, tough career changes. So today I have a very good friend of mine, a sister from another mother, and I'd like her to share her story. Her name is Joyce. She'll, tell us briefly about herself, and then we will take it from there. Joyce, welcome, welcome.
Yay! Hi, Liz.
Hi.
Yeah, yes.
So the people listening to us, these people have known you for a long time, so they call me by my old name, but I rebranded anyway. Regardless, we move. Joy, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Thank you for honoring our invite. So, briefly, tell us a bit about yourself. Where were you born? What kind of family did you grow up in? What did you enjoy as a child? Where are you now, right now? Things like that.
Okay. My name is Joyce Nabisaalu. Those who are based in Uganda, you clearly see the dynamics of my life right now. I am a Muganda lady. I'm on Beja at that. And I'm married to an amazing, actually, guy called Komakech. So my name is Joyce Komakech Navisalu. Yeah, okay. So I'm told, and as I told you, like my early years of my childhood, I clearly don't recall because, as I'm going to explain, my parents. Okay, so I think I was born either in my hometown, Kasana Luwero, or Lutete, but everything is in Luwero. The thing is, my parents, now retired, are teachers. My dad is a professional degree teacher. My mom, a grade 5 teacher. So because of their profession, they kind of moved around a lot. Yeah. So when my dad got his degree, he started becoming a principal from one college to another. So I'm told they moved around a lot. And being the last of the 7 children, by the time I was born, they were ready to settle. So so my childhood, I remember my early years, I was in Namutamba. I don't know if you know Namutamba, but it's somewhere in like
Eastern Uganda.
it's in Mitiana.
Then then is Namutumba. Okay.
But interestingly, that place had lots of people from Rwanda.
Mm.
Around cows, milking cows, drinking lots of milk, and I started speaking Lunyaranda. I have never told you this, but I can speak some Lunyaranda.
I can see.
Yeah. Okay. So that's my family. I come from a big family. I'm the last born. By the time I started like really understanding stuff, like 5, and I was born, let's say like 5 years between me and the person I follow. So by the time I really started grasping life, people were in boarding school. Yeah. So I was usually at home, my parents and like some other cousins who were staying with us.
So you were your parents' handbag.
Something like that. Okay, yeah. So my childhood, I was a very, very jolly child.
You still
They,
are a jolly person.
they loved me at school. In my Sunday school and my nursery school, my teachers tell me I led all the songs. I have all the photos. I was always the leader. Let's say Christmas plays, I was always the lead actress. Yeah, I was the Mary carrying Jesus, something like that. Okay, so the community really loved me, and I was around college students. So most of those students always came home. Oh, we've come to see Joy. We've come to see Joy, like that. The same thing with church. We are a church family. We are Anglican. We are always at church. And given the community, like my parents always stayed, we were always close to a church, a hospital, a school. So we always had that community.
Mm.
So I think when we were at Namutamba, my sisters, because my mom always wanted us to go to good schools, like that college, being a college teacher, getting taught. But my mom was a very visionary lady. She's like, my kids have to go to Namagunga or Budo or Namiryango. So at some point, she realized what she was getting from being a teacher was just too small. She said, just being an entrepreneur.
Okay.
Yeah, she said all sorts of businesses, rearing chicken, pigs, growing food, because there was always market. The students were always buying these produce. So he's like, and I think I'll make more money as an entrepreneur just selling everything. Yeah. So the most interesting thing about my childhood, if you participated, like if you're really a good working member of the family and she gets profit from whatever she's selling, she would always pay us.
Hey, mama, nice parents.
Yeah, I remember that. My mom, yes, she always did that. So, yeah, Liz, is there anything I missed that you think I should say about my childhood?
That was interesting, eh?
Yeah,
So you
my
really grew up a lot around big communities, and you were never lonely, despite the fact that you were the last born.
and then my teacher, I had forgotten because when you told me to think about these questions, I remembered my nursery teacher loved me so much. So when they would send us to from school to home, every time she would leave like school at 2 p.m. because we left school at 12 p.m. Every time she was going back to her house, she always passed by our home to be like, "I've come to see Joy."
Ah, that is really nice. Joyful, like your name. So after that, you went to which say primary schools and high schools, and
Ah,
where
yes.
are you now?
Sorry. Okay, so the early years, of course, nursery and P1 to P3, I was in Namtamba demonstration school, those early years. But then that time, my brother had already started working in Kampala. I admired him coming over to Namtamba driving his car. I always told him, please take me to Kampala, please, please. So when I was in P4, he's like, okay, now you're grown up, you're ready to go to Kampala. So that time he's like, okay, let's get you a school in Kampala, and I went to Namgongo Girls. So
Ah,
from
okay.
so from P4 to P7, I was at Namgongo Girls Boarding Primary School under Catholic leadership, which really groomed us very well.
I
So
know
from
what you mean.
Namugongo,
Mm.
I went to King's College Budo. I was there for 6 years. I love that school. It is so cultured. It's a diverse school. We studied with the poor, the rich, the wealthy. I mean, the royals, the president's kids, the minister's kids. It was really diverse. So I got to interact with so many people. I met friends. From Budo, I ended up in Chambogo, and that's where I met you, Liz. Yeah.
Good old times.
Yeah. Chambogo, yeah, you remember our years. We read a lot. We were really focused. And then after, I looked for work, like any graduate, I was looking for work. I said a business, a fashion business, because my major was in fashion. So I definitely had to start a fashion business because I saw my mom starting businesses. I was like, I can do this. And she was really encouraging me to do it. So I did it. And as we're going to
And I
continue,
can attest that Joy was really good at her craft, like really, really good. And I think, yeah, when you started your thing, I remember I was so excited for you, eh?
yeah,
Because,
you
you
supported
know,
me.
you creative, like the things were really nice. Would get things from the internet and tell Joy, make me this dress, make me this suit, make me this. I should make it so nicely. It would be so professionally made that other people would be like, what did you buy this? You're like, no, I paid it. Like, where? How? So yeah, I remember it was really, really amazing. And I remember asking you about if you're, taking care of your finances or you're just sewing.
No,
Yeah.
really helped a lot. I don't want to keep
Yeah.
saying his anyway. He having him around that time kind of gave me sense of direction that this can actually grow. And as we'll discuss, ahead, you'll see that his hand has so much in why I'm here. Yeah, so right now I'm in the United States of America. Yes, I'm very happy to be here because I'm here with my husband and my kids. So it doesn't get any better than that.
Well, perhaps the other thing that Joy hasn't told you is that she's a Yali Fellowship scholar. And when she told us that she was going to the US to do this program, we were like, okay, you go. And so, what prompted you to apply for this Yali thing, and how did you hear about it?
Okay, so my husband at that time, he was working with the Hunger Project Uganda. So that is like a US funded program. And I think they get to know these opportunities pretty much. They get to, through their country directors, to kind of communicate to their people. So he comes home and tells me, Joyce, there is this opportunity. They are taking young entrepreneurs to US for training. I'm like, oh, really, really? That was after our introduction. And I was really excited. I'm like, okay. So when I went through the requirements, I actually didn't think I would make it. He's like, no, I'm with you. We can write this. So we wrote the concept, everything, and then we submitted. And yeah, I was accepted and made it here for the first time in 2014 under that business name, my business that I was running. But yeah, the crafting was really my husband's help. Yeah, that's how I made it.
Okay, and then you came back. I remember when you came back, you guys were just about to get married. You're telling us, I'm going to look for my wedding dress. Me, I'm not going to wear a dress from Uganda. A lot of stuff. And I think when you came back and you were so excited with the exposure, then you told us you wanted to move back after getting married. I remember we were at, I'll never forget, we were at Golf Course Hotel. We were having dinner with the girls. And I was like, is this girl crazy? She's just married. She's just like, what, a month or so married, and she's thinking of relocating her life and stuff. And perhaps those are some of the things that, when you think of making a big career or life change, your friends, your family will say all these things. I know as a mom, I was saying, but this girl is not serious. Why is she going to leave the man? I was thinking about all those things, and I was like, she has even just started her business. It looks like it's thriving. So, apart from people like me, what were your other friends and family saying about, when you are like, you know what, I need to go back and, expand my craft and do all these things? And before we get to that, what is it in this Yali training that finally triggered you that, you know what, I think I need more of this?
Okay. So when I came, I was placed in a college town. A college town that was really friendly. Like there is just this whole aura of welcoming because in a college town they expect international students. So every person that I met was nice. Black, white, Indian, everyone was nice to me. Okay. So I met Ugandan students at that campus. And some of them were just single students. Some of them had their families. Two of them had their families here. And then the lady that I was working with under her mentorship, she is a very nice lady. Though she left our college, she went to another state, but she was really nice. So when she told me, Joyce, you just have a bachelor's degree, you can come back here and do your master's. There are opportunities, and I'm going to link you to other Ugandans that I know. So she kind of emailed through the international students office, I think, and they were looking for all Ugandans. I got in touch with the Ugandans. And that was just a college town. So that person I met, the Ugandan I met, told me, Joyce, there is a bigger community. So over the weekend, there is a party in the next city.
Ugandans always partying.
If you're free, Saturday night, we can go for the party. I'm like, oh, of course. So I went, live. I was amazed. I could not believe I was meeting over 30 adults minus the children, over 30 Ugandans in a state like where I am right now in this country, having a good time in a good system. You know what I mean? I was like, I want some of these. These people look happy. they have their children, they are living in big houses, they are driving big cars. I'm like, I want some of this. So as I talk to them, they're like, no, you can actually come back. You can actually come back. Maybe you can actually just stay. I'm like, no, I can't stay. I have to go home and be married. They're like, you're getting married. You are crazy. We know Ugandan girls, when you get married, you'll never come back. I'm like, I don't know, but I have to go back. Because during that time, my wedding meetings had started.
Yeah.
So there was no way I was going to be like, Joe, sorry.
Bye. Catch you in another life.
Well, I wasn't raised like that. So I couldn't do that. I had to come home and be married. I was like, okay, I love this place, but I have to do it the right way. So I already had like a small, well, you know, when you meet people for like 2 weeks, they were not my friends, but I knew there was a community.
Yeah.
Ugandans here. So yeah. And then about my family, okay, my mom raised us because we're just 5 girls and 2 boys. So my mom always told us every person is a bottle. She usually says every person is a bottle with their bottom. So you kind of grow up. She's like, after campus, you are your own bottle, you're independent, you're going to stand on your own. Because we don't have so much, after we educate you, you should be able to sustain your life. So she raised us as independent as possible. You can do anything as long as you just inform them. After 18, you can do anything, but just communicate. So that was my attitude. Actually, my parents had no problem with me leaving. The only problem they had with me leaving was because I was pregnant. But saying I'm going miles and miles away from home, that was not a problem. And also, what was keeping them like, okay, we have to be strong is if the husband is willing to let her go, then we already gave her away.
They have no rights over you.
Yes. So another thing that happened, when I came back for the wedding, we waited because I knew I had made friends here. I was trying to come back. I mean, come back home, like come back here. But things didn't work out. The scholarship wasn't ready. There was no funding. I was like, okay, let's wait. We waited 1 year, 2 years. I was like, okay, I think this thing will not work out.
Going to work out.
Yeah, let's just get pregnant. And
So this whole time you guys were holding on to getting pregnant in hopes of the scholarship.
yes, seriously.
Hey.
Because he really saw like the only way. Okay, my personality, if I want something, I usually go for it.
Yep.
So there was no way I was
So
going to
he's
be.
a go-getter.
Yeah, there was no way I was going to be happy knowing, okay, you got me pregnant. Now this opportunity is here and now I can't go. Yeah. So after waiting, we're like, okay, I'm ready to have a baby. It has failed, it has failed. So yeah. My in-laws were kind of concerned. Oh, this Mugole, we just paid our dowry.
Just wants to leave her son to go miles away.
Yeah, but they are amazing people. They are the best. I think Joe's parents are the best parents. Anyway, they talked to me. I told them, you know what, I'm going, but I'll make sure that Joe joins us. We have to be a family. And they were like, okay, she's pregnant. She has our child. Okay, let her go.
She's not going to think otherwise.
Yeah, so I was really rooted in the home. Like my pregnancy kept me rooted to be focused on the marriage, to make sure that Joe comes. And yeah, I was really rooted I think partly because, yeah, I was pregnant.
But now, you said you waited like 2-3 years, then it finally came and you were pregnant. So some people might be like, you know what, I'm pregnant and this thing requires me to go alone for now at least. Or I don't know, just especially with your first child, because there's a lot of unknowns. You're moving to a place, it's unknown. Yes, you had made friends, but it's still unknown.
Right.
You do not know how the pregnancy is going to go. Like, what were the thoughts running through your mind? Because here you are. I think you even left when you're quite heavily pregnant. 6-7 months?
7 months.
7 months pregnant, and that is really very close, that you're almost ready to pop. So what were your fears? How did you overcome them? what are some of those things that, there's a lady out there who's listening and probably is in your situation, because I've had so many ladies talking about, okay, I want to go do my master's, but then I am married, or I just found out I'm pregnant. What are the fears? What fears are those, and how did you overcome them? So someone who's listening out there can be like, oh, okay, I can pick a few tips from here.
Okay. First of all, what I want to tell people, I mean, we had different options, but I think we pushed the envelope. We went too far. Because me coming by myself was a decision we talked about, and there was an alternative. On my student visa, for example, Joe could have come as like another visa under me,
Ah, okay.
which is very restrictive. So he wouldn't do so much with that. And I didn't, like, still, as I said, I really loved my marriage to work out. So I didn't want to bring him here because we are having a baby and stay home because he can't do anything. And
Anything.
it was reversed. I mean, a lady can sit home comfortably. I mean, you can do that for your husband, right?
Uh,
So we're like, okay, it's going to be painful, but I would like him to come on a visa where he can study, work a little bit, and I mean, we are going to have a child. We need more money.
yeah.
So it wasn't wise for him to just come immediately. So we decided to hold and just process his stuff independently. Like, I'm not even here. Yeah. So my biggest fear as a first-time mom, my mom told me, Joyce, it's exciting that you're going to the US, but you don't know what you're up against. Having a child is death in itself. She told me that. And I kept telling her, I'm going to the best country in the world.
That is scary. First, talk to me in Luganda. What did she say?
Zala kufa. She told me that. Women go to the labor wards and they never come back. Are you ready for that? So when she told me that, I started developing the fear of like, okay, first of all, what if I miscarry because of like the flight? I'm late.
Yeah.
I was really worried about miscarrying the baby. I was worried about the baby dying or myself dying from a foreign country. I was thinking about the extreme. But what kept me going, Liz, I was just telling myself, I'm going to the best country. That is seriously. I believe when I came here the first time, I don't know why I believed in this system because everything seemed to work right for me. I had never traveled to any country, not Kenya, not anywhere. In my family, there is no one in the US. So when I came here, I was like, I love this system. Everyone is on time. I was amazed. You've been, I mean, you're where you are, a very developed country. So, I was really impressed, but I believed in the system. And the lady that I was working with, my advisor at that time, she told me, Joyce, there are different opportunities for everything. Even before I traveled, I told her, you know what, Mary, I am so happy that I got this opportunity, but I am pregnant. And she was so happy. Oh, you're having a baby. We can have a baby here. I was like, okay.
Yeah.
While I was really worried about dying and all the bad things happening, I knew I was going to be under the best medical care there is. So basically, it was trusting God and believing in the system. Um, but I was worried. Okay, yes, I have the baby. How am I going to continue with school?
Yeah.
And I had a very, my boy, he I don't know, because we're just the two of us all the time. So he basically just knew me. People would offer to help me. He would just say no. He would cry. He cried so much. He had colic. I don't know if you know colic. Yeah, he had colic, so he was always uncomfortable around people. Every time he would feed, he was throwing up. He cried so much. Yeah, and along the way, I started meeting people. Actually, there is a lady I should have mentioned earlier. I met this amazing girl in the first like weeks of my stay here, and then she told me, "Oh, I thought you were just pregnant."
That's big. How big can you be when it's only your stomach?
Yes, I'm pregnant. She immediately called her parents and told them she's American. Mommy, you can't believe. I just met a student here on campus who is pregnant and she's an international student. She needs our help.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So that time I had no car. Literally, you have to have a car here. She would drive me to my antenatal checkups. She was like my, what is it called? These rides.
Chauffeur.
Yes, yes, yes. She
Wow.
did all that for me. So I had friends. I made friends, amazing people. So her family is my family. Every time you see me in Colorado, just know I'm with that family.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
very
How
nice.
did you ask?
So you really found a community and people to support you along this journey, especially, before your partner joined you, you
Yeah.
know. So apart from that,
Mhm.
what advice would you give to a young woman who's in a similar
Oh,
situation as
yeah.
you were almost 5, 6 years ago? First of
Mm,
all, you talked about wanting to have children, but you've been waiting. Then
yeah.
you get pregnant. Then you
Yeah.
need to make that decision. Then you finally go. I mean, all these are different, like these are really big life
This.
decisions, you
Mm,
know? So, and obviously you're torn apart. There's for chasing your dream. There's also wondering about your marriage. There's also wondering about your pregnancy. Like there are more unknowns than knowns at this point in your life. But what is that? What is that advice you could give to a young lady who's going through similar transitions?
my advice to any young lady out there trying to, make big decisions. I'll give you the advice that my mom gave us as young ladies trying to grow up. She said, in for every lady at whatever level you're at, the only asset you have is what's in your brain, i.e., your education.
Mm,
Because this life is so dynamic, things can happen. The person you've been trusting so much, or whatever situation you're in, can be taken away, or can go away, or you can be in very big disappointment.
yeah.
But one thing you will not lose is what's in your brain.
Mm,
So for any lady out there, if an opportunity comes, take it. However hard it is, take it. What you have to do is create a situation that is convenient for your partner if you're married. Because I know of so many scholarships that allow people to have their families with them,
mm,
or there are scholarships that can let you travel back and forth if you really want to travel. But there should be something, there should be a way to make you able to take that opportunity. Do not give away an opportunity. If a challenge comes and you think you can take it on, take it on. Yeah, but just know the only thing you have, the only asset you have is what's in your head.